from a sweet place in outer space comes a group of freaky fellows, bringing Freaky's brand cereal to kids on Earth. It's full of brightly colored marshmallows. Freaky's have little ships for the long trip to fly into your breakfast bowl. With the honey taste and crunch, this marshmallow bunch makes breakfast fun their only goal. Freakies are delicious in this breakfast that's nutritious.
Crunchy spaceships are new. Freaky's marshmallows too.
New Freakies is the breakfast treat.
Freaky!
That's out of this world.
Sikahema, return specialist who had this celebrity boxing match with Jose Canseco last night in Atlantic City, knocks him out in the first round. Your thoughts?
Well, no, I'm not surprised.
About how many push-ups I think Sikahema can do. Nil. But he's convinced. Because there was this is how it happened. I threw out a story to him. There's a kid in India, a 4-year-old in India, who said that on YouTube.
You counting, Kelly?
Hold on. I'm gonna start it and Kelly's gonna count. And you're gonna count out loud, right? McAlpin is videotaping it. On the count of 3.
Hang on. Move this chair. Okay,
All right,
Kelly.
he's moving the chair. He's down on the ground. He's set in the ready position on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go!
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, Kelly's counting. Vi is up and down. He's pushing. Here go all the push-ups. He's not really going down all the way.
Oh,
He's going to go down all the way. He's not really going way down. He's pushing. His face is turning red as well.
36, 37, 38.
He's at 47.
26
26 seconds in.
57,
The sales team and the interns and Jody Camera are watching him through the glass. Vi Sikahema. He's going for the goal. 20 seconds left.
9, 80, 81, 82.
He's not really pushing all the way up either. These are fugazi push-ups.
90, 91,
This is under protest.
93, 94.
You can't even see him from in there, Brace.
99, 100.
All right, 53 seconds. He says he got 100, and he's breathing heavy. I'm gonna say right now, we're gonna put the video up online.
Yes!
And he's screaming at. He's screaming.
Welcome to the 2011 Sikahema Touchdown Celebration Fantasy Football League Draft Special. Let's begin with the newly realigned yet unnamed Conference 1 and the defending champs. 2010 marked the end of an era for the brothers Garber. The team won a championship but lost a brother. John's too busy deciding who should start at striker for the Monroe College Lady Mustangs to weigh in on who should start at flex for his own family-owned fantasy football team. Without him, the brother is leaner, meaner, and no longer plural headed into the 2011 season. And one Vic richer.
First and goal, Vic. Dancing, running, in for the touchdown.
Little brother Gabe, aka Gab, reached the promised land in 2010, despite being 6,000 miles away in Morocco. He spent many a late night rooting on the coolest players in the NFL, glued to atdhe.net. And just in time, as the domain has recently been seized by the US government. For a Jew from South Orange, New Jersey, Ethan Green sure does like a good white supremacist joke. And the state of Texas. In 2010, Ethan drafted fantasy football deity Arian Foster, and a new franchise name was born, Aryan Nation. A team with only genetically perfect fantasy specimens, Houston Texans. Designed to be a superior race of fantasy football franchises, the Nation did their best impression of Germany circa 1944 and failed to make the playoffs. Luckily, this Nation won't have to pay reparations, and will return their superior trio of Texans in 2011 for one more shot at world domination. While a certain street meat has taken their lumps on the field, Suadero never disappoints, whether at the Taco Zone track or in the VSTDC FFL. A late season move to rent stud running back Adrian Peterson may not have come off as planned, but Suadero comes back as strong as ever, returning a two-headed monster at running back and arguably the most exciting young receiver with arguably the most off-field issues.
Castle scrambling for plus yardage, and it's Charles with that great speed, taken off. Jamal Charles, no one's going to touch him. Touchdown, Kansas City.
If Jamal Charles were a taco truck menu item, he would unquestionably be a Suadero quesadilla doused in avocado verde sauce. The question is, will Todd Haley choose Suadero, carnitas, or pastor? 2010 marked the worst season in franchise history for Dickey and Cromartie's kids. Was it coincidence that it was also his first season as a father? Or was the coincidence that he drafted 3 Bengals? He looks to rebound in 2011 by drafting as many Carolina Panthers as possible. With his beloved Redbird staring at a double-digit deficit in late August, owner Jeff Chapman can take solace in a few things: his lovely new home, a second annual excursion to temperate Los Angeles, the suds from an Anheuser-Busch product, and of course, the pride and pageantry of fantasy football season. Gone are the days of email threads debating whether or not to give his franchise the boot. Chapman has become a pillar of the league. With his second straight trip from St. Louis to Los Angeles for the draft, there's no questioning where Chapman's heart is. It's right next to his stomach, first in line to sample the best brisket west of Lake Austin. Bad taste isn't in Chapman's palate, although he did rename his franchise Chapman Dingo after a movie about slave fighting. Owner Eric Grau has promised a renewed dedication to a franchise long overdue for the taste of success. And who's to doubt him, as he's freed from the pesky task of abandoning a fantasy soccer startup venture which so heavily weighed him down last year. 2010 was a rebuilding year for the ironically named sensation, who now faced the enviable prospect of drafting a franchise player he traded away last year with an eye to the future. The pieces are in place for a magical jaunt down the Golden Road, but will the sensation be able to avoid the potholes of the past? And now the boys of Conference B. Owner Michael Cahill's brand of crudely photoshopped logos reached new heights last season when he unveiled the Yellow Jackets. What will 2011 bring? Hopefully more victories. The Jackets managed only 5 last season, on the heels of only 2 in 2009. Far less victories than Mike managed in franchise mode of NFL 2K2 for Sega Dreamcast. But this year he returns a solid group, headlined by waiver wire gold LeGarrette Blount. And with the number 2 overall pick waiting in the wings, a 500 record, or even his first playoff berth since that magical 2008 championship season could be on the horizon. In 2010, Nick Shum and Thrillhouse FC rode 15th round pick Peyton Hillis to a first ever total points title. Hillis would go on to grace the cover of Madden, and Nick would grace the line at the California Unemployment Department after being reported by a secret shopper for giving a customer a free shot of Jack Daniels. If that's not the Madden curse, I don't know what is. Hillis has been thrown back into the player pool as Nick returns to work with franchise face Frank Gore and franchise freak Calvin Johnson, along with the most head-scratching trainee keeper since Chapman kept Mark Sanchez, the likely otherwise undrafted Patriots tight end Aaron Hernandez. Adam Myers and Cold Hard Cash have some cold hard decisions to make as the keeper deadline approaches. Cold hard decisions that come with cold hard questions. Does Adam keep his storied franchise's top talent? As Chris Johnson's holdout continues, Adam will have to decide whether he'll hold out and hope Johnson doesn't miss the season's first 2 doubleheader weeks. Will the fact that the Titans are no longer his favorite team factor into his decision? Will his shift in fandom lead to the Texans' first ever playoff season? Will Myers drink too much at the draft? The answers are blowing in the wind. After last season's trade to acquire Aaron Rodgers for highly touted running back LaShawn McCoy, it looked like the Kids might be poised to repeat with its Wisco Rodgers to Jennings tandem. While a fantasy championship wasn't to be, Rodgers and Jennings won a championship in real life, which is arguably better. Now, without leading man McCoy, writer/producer/Showbiz Kids owner Steven Shaler has attached up-and-comers Matt Ryan, Hakeem Nicks, and Javid Best, hoping to secure financing and return to the land of Pater. Sam Wallach's Iron Zion Lions are like the Buffalo Bills of the Sikahema Touchdown Celebration Fantasy Football League. A perennial playoff team that just can't seem to get it done when it counts. Despite having the second most points in league history, math teacher Mr. Wallach has the least fantasy titles. Could 2011 be the year that the Lions finally roar? New Rochelle stalwart Ray Rice returns for his swan song season alongside Phillip Rivers and Percy Harvin. And if, as reported, Harvin's migraines are a thing of the past, perhaps so are the Lions' playoff headaches. King of all other activities, Ted claims to be bad at fantasy sports, but not as bad as he is at answering phone calls. You have reached the Sprint PCS voice mailbox of Team Zizou. But despite the worst franchise record in league history, Ted still has the second best single-week score ever. A magical week in 2007 proves that as bad as Ted is at fantasy sports, even he gets lucky once in a while, even with Ruben Drones on his bench. With Tom Brady, Fantasy Rookie of the Year Mike Williams, and perennially ready to break out Felix Jones, this season, luck won't have anything to do with it. And so begins another season of fantasy football fun. I'm trying to collect league dues 6 months after the season ends.